What is going on, apes, the ape army? I hope you guys enjoyed your weekend and you are ready for battle tomorrow and throughout the rest of the week. But in this video, we're going to be talking about why I do think AMC stock will go to about $100 by the end of the week with a gamma squeeze and a bit of a short squeeze, really naked shorts that are being forced recall on their shares. So that is going to be a forced recall for them to cover their short positions. We are going to go through all the data and it is quite compelling, and I think a lot of you guys will agree with me. Maybe $100 is too low, but that's what I'm going to set my price target at. So with that being said, I'm not a financial advisor, not a financial planner, none of that fancy jazz. I just wear a suit and talk about stocks on YouTube. So with that being said, make sure to tap, tickle, touch, or smash the like button, as well as comment down below and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to get free stock by literally doing nothing, check out the two links down below in the description: Public and Webull. Public, no deposit necessary, no need to even link a bank account, and you get your stock immediately. It is literally free money, as well as check out the link down below for the buy and sell alerts. That pays for itself over and over and over again, and the members in there would tell you that firsthand. Now, with that being said, we all know the Ortex data, right? Everybody talks about Ortex. This says we are at about a 12% short interest. I do think, from the research that I have been doing about failure to delivers and all these naked shorting that has been going on, that this number is probably double. So I think it's safe to say the short interest is probably around 35 to 40%. And let me show you guys the proof for this. And I do think this is proof. If you don't, that is on you. I'm really not trying to convince you on this. We are not even getting into the reason yet why I do think AMC stock will go to $100 this upcoming week, and that is what is really important here. But I think naked short selling is important to go through, and why I do think this is proof that this problem is going on a much wider, widespread extent than we all do think. So the SEC reports a failure to deliver numbers. That is where naked short sellers, anybody that has an obligation to return shares by shorting them in any kind of form, has to publicly disclose this data when they cannot have available shares. Most of the time this happens with naked short selling, and it gets reported the first half of every month and then the second half of every single month. This has not been reported since May 13th. They have never done this ever in history, not reported the second half of a month, and we are almost to the first half of June. So this data is so far delayed, and May 13th we only had 126,000 in failure to delivers. Back during the last short squeeze, we had almost 28 million shares that were failed to deliver. So a big difference here, and obviously we would see a spike just like this if this did happen, and they're just quite frankly not putting this data out. So that is one reason, right? But take a look at this. Why naked short selling occurs. Naked shares sold short can take place in a liquid market which may not be noticed. If the shares of a short sell cannot be obtained, the trade will fail. Failure reports are published regularly by the SEC, which might generate unwanted attention to the short seller. The SEC is behind all of this. They know what is going on. They are not publishing this data because they don't want a frenzy to go on with media, YouTube, everybody else, Twitter, to basically question the whole financial institutions. So that is why I think they're not publishing this data. That is the main key factor. But now that we have all these reverse repos at a record high, these people are getting cash from the government, from the Federal Reserve, to make sure that they have enough liquidity to cover in this scenario that AMC does go crazy. And this does actually correlate directly June 1st. Since June 1st, we have had about 100 billion in additional loans that have been sent out by the Federal Reserve. So this is just icing on the cake. I really do think it comes down to the lack of transparency of these failure to deliver numbers, especially the second time around during the short squeeze. That is why I do estimate the current short interest is between 35 and 40% on AMC. Now, getting into why I think we could go to $100 this upcoming week, this all comes back to the June 18th expiration for these options, right, for the calls. And we do have, like you guys have already seen in all these other videos, 414,000 that are currently in the money. That is if we closed on Friday at this exact same price, which we won't. We will go up a lot more, but that is just that. But the out the monies are really what is important here, at least to me. We have 303,000 contracts that are out the money. And if we go to the option chain, guys, we can see that AMC is currently at $49.40 per share. So this is this $49 strike right here. here, which we have an open interest of about 3,000 contracts. Once we get to the $50 strike, which is only 60 cents more, which a lot of market makers have probably started to hedge for this contract, that is at about almost 25,000 in open interest. But the main key point I want to point out to you guys is every $5 we start to see a high amount of open interest on these contracts. And basically how the market makers work and how they hedge these options. Say you have the right to buy 100 shares of AMC at $50, right? They're going to start hedging that position pretty much fully out at about $49. So if they bought the shares at 49, you have the right to buy them at 50. They still make money on the trade, and that is how the option market does stay fluid and how it does work. And like I was saying, every 5 strikes have a very high open interest. You see 12,000 at the $55 strike. At the 60, you see 23,500. At the 65, you see 6,000. At the 70, you see 15,000. 75, you see 3,000. 80, you see about 9,000. 85, 2,000. And then it kind of starts to die off until you get to 95. You have about 10,000. And then 100, at 100, you have 4,300. Or, no. 100, you have 20,268, and then you really start to pick up steam over 100, and then you have 3,700, 10,000, 6,400, and then at 145, you have 42,000 in open interest. So once we do start to break past these levels, even as the technicals do support, we are looking for a breakout. But once you start to get over 50, you will see some gas to 55. If we can break past that level and get really to $60 is where I do see a critical level as far as even the technical analysis, which we will pull up right here as well. I didn't plan on going through a little bit of technicals with you guys, but I will show you the key level that you must know about, which is the $60 level. Once you do break past this and get some steam to the upside, guys, we are clear to go back to our highs at about $77. And the option chain does suggest this. A lot of these options, obviously, they're expiring this Friday, so you're going to see a lot of hedging that is going on. You're going to see all these options get hedged within the next couple of days, and especially once you do start to get close to the money, like at the $100 strike, they might start hedging for these at about $90. So once we do get really to $90, that's where you're going to see that steam up to 100, and it's going to be a little tricky how it plays out after 100 if some apes start to take profits. I don't think that is really the case, because we need to see that short interest actually start to go down, the legal short interest. But after every $5, you will see some steam going ahead. So I would really watch this in increments of $5, because you can know off bat that is where the most volume is, or the open interest on these contracts. And you don't have to be a genius for this. Once you see that $50 strike, you should gas up to about $55. Once you get to about $54, you'll see a lot of market makers coming in. Same thing for the 60, same thing for the 65, and then the 70. After 70, even if we break that $80 mark, that's when it really starts to get insane, and that is where a lot of people will pile into these contracts that do expire this week, because we have a very low actual open interest over the 80. Pretty much to the 80 and the 85, we have very low open interest for these contracts. So once you see a lot of people start to buy these, which they will when AMC goes to about 80 or even 70, people will start buying these, and the market makers will have to go hedge crazy and start buying a ton of shares, driving the price up tremendously. And considering everything here, with the apes owning about 85% of the company, I do think this is going to be a monster week, especially if most of us just hold our positions and don't sell. So that is the main reason why I do think we're going to $100, and even the technicals do imply we just started a bullish rally, and I do think we will open probably up another 15%, really putting us at about this $55 price, if not in between 55 and 60. If we do break the 60 with good momentum, it is literally going to the moon, to Mars, to Pluto, anywhere in between that. I think we'll all be happy with whatever outcome does happen throughout this next week and into next week. A lot of this will carry over into next week. You better believe that. So that is basically all for this video. That is why I do think AMC will go to about $100 per share. I'm not asking anybody to agree with me. This is just something I really want to point out to you guys, to really watch the $5 increments, right? 50 to 55 to 60, 65 to 70, 75 to 80. and watch to see if we do get any resistance in between there, and it might be a good time to make a trade if you see a lack of resistance and we start to get some real steam here. So that's going to wrap up this video. Make sure to check out the links down below in the description to get all the free stock your heart desires, $2,300 with Webull, or up to $2,300 with Webull, as well as a guaranteed up to $70 using the link for public. Like I said, no deposit necessary, no need to even link a bank account. It is literally free money. You get your stock immediately. Even if it's Sunday night, you will still get your stock tonight whenever you do this. Literally takes 2 minutes, as well as check out the link down below for the buy and sell alerts. With that being said, I'll see you guys later. Take care.